What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're checking out exactly how good was Okocha. This is from the channel Raymar. He makes really good mini documentaries of football and the sport of football. So we're gonna check him out. So he played on many teams throughout his career. His most popular team is probably PSG from 1998 to 2002. He played midfielder. So let's take a look. Before we get into this video, if you guys could like this video and subscribe to my channel, help me get to 6,000 subscribers, that would really appreciate it.
When you look at some of the most famously skilled players in history, I have no doubt.
So I never heard of him before. This is the first time actually reacting to him.
What if I told you that there was an African Ronaldinho that had
an African Ronaldinho?
Skills? In fact, it probably isn't even right to call.
Is Ronaldinho even the most skilled player? Do people actually call him that?
Made a name for himself.
I thought the most skilled would just be Messi or Ronaldo.
Might have even taught Ronaldinho some skills and tricks as an older player.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
On the same squad. I'm of course talking about no other than the legendary Okocha, a player.
I mean, right off the bat, he's making some great moves.
Same football skills we'll never forget. Hey guys, what's up? It's Raymar, and today we're gonna look at how good was Okocha really. But before we start, make sure to check out my merch store right now to cop some dope hoodies, shirts, and long sleeves, and let the world
free
know
plug.
that you love the beautiful game and look good while doing it.
I actually gotta create some merch.
Every purchase helps.
I have no clue when though. I mean, I just gotta get more subscribers too, ain't?
Now, this story was quite different from what you'd expect from a kid that would eventually become a professional footballer. Okocha was someone who was never really a highly scouted prospect as a young player. In fact, he was never really scouted at all. Okocha's introduction to professional football.
I like those stories though. People who don't really get scouted much and have to work their way up.
Different, more well-known players in my channel. Born in Nigeria, Okocha didn't really have any access to proper football pitches or footballs at all. In an interview, Okocha said, "As far as I can remember, we used to play with anything. Literally any round.
Must have been tough.
And whenever we managed to get hold of a ball, it was a bonus. I mean, it was amazing." He would play in the streets his entire childhood until he joined a local Nigerian club called the Enugu Rangers at the age of 13 in 1990.
13. So a lot of these players are active. They start really young.
Goal against the best goalkeeper in his country.
And they're performing really young too.
Soon to be Nigerian national team goalkeeper Willie Okpara by dribbling around him and casually tapping the ball into the net. Despite the limited access to play proper football, it was clear that Okocha was more talented than his peers in Nigeria, good enough to make it to youth academies in bigger clubs in Europe. Unfortunately, however, there weren't many opportunities for him in his home country. Everything would change when Okocha flew out to Germany on vacation to meet a friend who was playing for a third division club called Borussia Neunkirchen. And as fate would have it, he would follow his friend to training where
Very quick.
Asked him to join in and try. After that, the club's coach had noticed his talents and was impressed, inviting him back the very next day before offering him a contract. And just like that, Okocha finally had a chance at professional football. After 2 years in the third-tier German league, Okocha would get an offer from Frankfurt and finally find himself in the Bundesliga playing for one of the top leagues of football. At the time, Germany were the reigning world champions and many of Germany's elite were in their home league. It was a very competitive environment. He would immediately shine and get a lot of attention after scoring one of his
really skillful actually, yeah.
Club by dribbling through the penalty area with incredible skill, absolutely toying with the defenders and disrespecting.
Definitely toying with them. I mean, so many people are falling. Look at that.
Against one of the most intimidating goalkeepers.
It's like he's just having fun.
Oliver Kahn. Many considered it to be the goal of the year and highlighted Okocha's unique and flashy playing style. Even after 2 decades, when talking about Okocha, Oliver Kahn would still joke around saying that he still feels dizzy from that goal, even until now. Now, context is important, and you have to keep in mind that at the time, the world wasn't aware of any Ronaldinhos or Neymars who are known for their flashy dribbling and entertaining skills.
So did he play before them?
Before them, there was Okocha. People had never really.
I mean, his quality doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too old either.
Maradona and Pele were insanely.
Looks the same as about the time Ronaldinho played.
Different in the way he dribbled. As some people who look at his highlights today might call him the African Ronaldinho. For the older generations, you might call Ronaldinho.
That's insane. Keeping the ball up like that.
Okocha. Okocha would solidify himself in the midfield, playing more at the attacking midfield role. As you can imagine from his creative dribbling and skill, Okocha was also great at distributing the ball, making him a talented playmaker as well. In 1994, Okocha would be the catalyst in his Nigerian national team. Playing in the Bundesliga, Okocha had already become a huge name in Africa, especially to see him doing the things that he did. The people of Nigeria saw him as a national hero already for helping them qualify for the World Cup.
That's awesome.
That status would only further elevate as he would help his country win the African Cup of Nations, leading the tournament in scoring and being named the tournament's best player, building his legacy not only for his country, but his continent of Africa as well, inspiring many players to do these crazy moves he was doing on the pitch.
Person's holding on to him.
Okocha would head over to play for Fenerbahce, which would be the best in his career, statistically speaking. Over the course of 62 games, Okocha would score an impressive...
Love when he shows these though, these little stats.
Incredible 19 assists.
Insane though.
This is when people saw more of his game than just the skills and dribbling, as most of his goals would actually come from set pieces, which over his career would become yet another trademark of his otherworldly skill. Around this time, Okocha was definitely one of the most talked about players in the world, and his stock value was pretty high up there. That was when, in 1998,
I'm pretty sure that's what they call it.
PSG decided to grab him. It may not
Yeah,
seem
that's
like
PSG.
much for one of the wealthiest clubs in the world, but his transfer fee of 14 million euros back then made him the most expensive African player on the planet, and close to being the most expensive transfer back then by just a few million. While Okocha was there, he served as a senior to some really young players in Mikel Arteta and a rising superstar understudy in no other than Ronaldinho. By many
Can't go wrong there.
Okocha was not only a good player, but also a model teammate.
That's
Being
very
a
important,
positive
though, being
presence in the locker room
a
and
great
on the
leader.
pitch. Okocha would put on an absolute show in Paris, showing off his skills and tricks, even making you wonder if he ever dribbled himself into a corner just so he could show off some insane skill or some fancy move to get out of it. While looking back at his time in Paris, Okocha said, "I had a great time at PSG. Ronaldinho was like my kid brother.
Guess you got to give props to
He was so
JJ though
talented and just needed
for
someone to
Ronaldinho's
guide him."
success.
And by many accounts,
Like a good
Okocha
mentor.
definitely had some influence on Ronaldinho, whether it be learning some of his moves or even practicing free kicks together, which the two are very well known for being absolutely great at. Ronaldinho has also never been shy to talk about JJ Okocha, admitting in multiple occasions that he always admired Okocha and looked up to him, especially during their times at PSG. After leaving PSG in 2002, Okocha would move on to the Premier League to play for Bolton, which can arguably be the most well-remembered part of his career. They had never really seen a player like JJ Okocha in England, which instantly made him not only a club favorite, but one of the most popular players to see in the entire league. Bolton fans would coin the iconic
A lot of
saying
deep goals,
going
too.
like this: JJ, so good they named him twice. Although he would never really win much with Bolton, he saved them from relegation a number of times. And his biggest accomplishment for the club, without a doubt, was winning the EFL Cup, or today's Carabao Cup. As the captain of the club,
A lot of
and
cups
for
that I did not
Bolton,
know
as you
about.
can imagine, was a very big
I thought that was just the
accomplishment for the
Champions
club.
League Cup and like
After
the
his 4
normal
years with Bolton,
championship
JJ
for
Okocha
your
would
own
play
league,
in
like the
Middle
Premier
East
League
for
championship
Qatar
and stuff like that.
FC, and come back to play for Hull City. But his time there wasn't really significant as he was coming to the end of his career and only played a year in each club. Okocha would score 85 goals and have 52 assists in 454 appearances, which is nothing really incredible, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
honestly.
the impact he had on the culture of the game was just different. He played football in a way that no one else before him
Look at
had
that.
really done. For many decades, the world has watched the skills he showed on the pitch, and many players today, in one way or another, have been influenced by his flashiness. I remember I was just a kid in middle school when I first learned about him. I had only thought that there was R9 or Ronaldinho that were really doing these types of crazy skills that would get all the views back then on YouTube. And I'm glad I was able to learn about his place in football history. Many people might have forgotten him and his style of football culture that he brought.
Can't
to
forget
the
about a
game.
legend.
So I think it's important to remember his career for what he did. His legacy wasn't that of winning or dominance in the game, but for the simple joy of playing football. But that's all from me today, guys. This video was made...
Yeah, I love these mini documentaries that Raymar posts. Definitely going to be reacting to a couple more in the near future. But that is JJ Okocha. Very skillful. First time hearing of him. Maybe I have to react to a different type of highlight video of him in the near future as well. Give me your thoughts on the player of JJ Okocha. Tell me what you liked about him, stuff like that. I'd love to read it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel. I'm out. Peace.